So whether it's by luck or by design, I think in my presentation I'm going to try and tie together a lot of the themes and comments and commentary that you've heard at this presentation, the presentations earlier, whether it be from Ubiquity, whether it be from Embers, whether it be indeed from ITV, because I think the challenges that we're facing as an industry are actually not new. They're well understood, and we as an industry need to kind of wake up and smell the coffee. Because the future is not tomorrow. The answer to the future and the challenges is now. We have all of the answers in our business today. I'm going to talk about 4 areas and very quickly sort of like flow through these areas. A number of people have talked about the fact that viewing habits are changing. But TV isn't going anywhere. It's going everywhere. All devices, all control. And this is all about putting the control of consumption in the hands of the consumer and not in the hands of the scheduler. And I would argue, as a consumer, and I think you would too, that's a bloody good thing. All that means, though, is that we, as media practitioners, need to change our behaviours, how we plan, how we buy, how we execute campaigns. I think TV has never had a brighter future because of that change. The data enablement that we have across TV platforms and devices gives us greater control, greater optionality and flexibility for TV. And that change in viewing is an opportunity and not a threat. Another common theme, whether it be Sam at Direct Line, or whether it be Michael from AO World, or whether it be any of the planning guys, TV is not about transaction, it's not about price, it's about the marketeer's business outcomes, delivering against an objective. Ratings are irrelevant if that is not your business objective. If reach isn't your objective, don't worry about the ratings. Think about what you're doing to your media and campaign plan. Then the other theme that I just want to touch on very briefly is that whether you think about short-term or long-term, TV does play in both, not just through brand building, not just by your standardised campaigns, but you can drive sales, you can drive footfall, you can convert lapsed customers, and you can drive upsell using TV through targeting, through brand reach, and through analytics. Apologies to those of you in the room that have seen this chart before, or this slide before, but I think it really articulates to me the changes that we're seeing in the industry. And I think it's no longer acceptable for TV as an industry to think that we have a right to be on a schedule, because our competitive set has changed. Now, our competitors at Sky used to be ITV and Channel 4. That's no longer the case. We compete for a proportion of budget versus Facebook, Google, outdoor, search, wherever it may be. You, as media practitioners and planners and buyers, are making those choices day in, day out. That is why Sky has invested so much money into advanced advertising capabilities. So, changing viewing. What's driving it? Whether it's the Virgin platform with the V6 box or the Sky platform with the Q box, we are giving consumers more control than ever before. They can speak into their remotes to request the next episode. The next episode can autoplay. There are personalised recommendations. There's machine learning helping consumers to navigate as quickly as possible to the content they want to watch. It's about them, not about us. It's about the consumer, not about you. And we as an industry need to be thinking about that. And again, as I say, that means that we need to change the way that we operate. The change in viewing is not going to slow down. The Sky Q box is the minority, if you like, the small element of our set-top box base. It will grow over the next few years to be the majority. The change in viewing is going to change. And that same applies for Virgin and the V6 box. That brings about it challenges in how we measure campaign effectiveness. Now, Dovetail is the industry answer, and it is the right answer. Yes, for all of those that are complaining, it's taking a long time. But having to navigate the roadmaps of Sky or ITV and Channel 4 is complicated. We have to include tags and code in every single device. And I have to tell you that is a pain in the arse. It's not as easy as just dropping a meter into some homes and then listening and viewing what people watch. This interacts with every single device that Sky operates its content on. But Barb Dovetail is the gold standard in the market, globally. But we recognise at Sky that we have to do something to cure the misconception, to resolve the misconception in the industry. Because Facebook can claim, and get away with it, that they can reach more 1634s than actually exist, and their spend still goes up. Facebook can charge for a single second or 2 seconds and get away with it. We in TV, and Jacob referenced it earlier, almost all of the ads are viewed through 100%. We at Sky have taken the position that we only charge for an ad if it's viewed through at 75% normal speed in full screen. That's a massive premium. Added value, if you like, versus what you get out of Facebook and Google. It's a safe and trusted environment. In the interim between now and when Dovetail comes alive, in about a year's time for full cross-platform reach and frequency, at Sky we'll be launching our own incremental reach and frequency reports that you as agencies and advertisers will be able to log onto a platform and see how your campaign is performing. In phase 1, which we're in proof of concept at the moment, that will sit on the Sky platform only, so incremental reach and frequency on Sky. And in phase 2, using independent audited platforms, we'll be looking at how that works alongside global rating points, Barb rating points, if you like. Independently audited by RSMB, the same people who audit Barb, giving you cross-platform reach and frequency to take us through to that first point of Barb Dovetail. Because we recognise that we're changing the market, we need to help you to navigate that space. The way that we, Sky, have focused or developed in the market to compete versus Facebook and Google is to talk about or to develop products. Products is the wrong language. It's the wrong language because it doesn't solve the issue that we talked about earlier about business outcomes. But just indulge me just for a second, because I've given a very specific brief to talk about the journey that we're on. So when you think about the product, we're investing in 3 main areas. First is analytics, understanding the efficacy of your campaigns, the return on investment. And the reason why I believe that we can demonstrate that is because we can, and we do have the ability to create control groups, carve-outs, if you like, to understand behaviours and differences between the control group and the exposed group. As pure a analysis as you can probably get. So analytics, addressable, otherwise known in the Sky world as AdSmart, and then cross-screen. Because Claire from McCann was talking about these cross-platform campaigns. We shouldn't think about TV in isolation. When you start off with a plan, it runs across all media, not just TV in isolation. So you need to think about how TV interacts across the system, across the platforms, TV and digital together, and regularly recognised as better together rather than in isolation. There are a number of components you need. You need to have a brand-safe environment. You need to have premium quality content before anyone will want to advertise in it, unless you're advertising on YouTube. Sorry. You need to have scale and reach. You need to have technology at the heart of the system. You need to be able to serve those ads. You need to have understanding data, viewing panels, and you need to have cross-platform reach because of the change in the viewing ecosystem. To Jason's point, although it may seem so, at Sky we don't build everything ourselves. We regularly partner with other ad tech firms, whether it be DataZoo, whether it be Adobe, whether it be Freewheel, where we just bring all these systems together to offer an end-to-end service for agencies and advertisers. The journey for AdSmart. Next March, April, our household reach goes from 7 million up to 7.2 million, up to 9.3 million, up to a journey point where we think with the full enablement of Virgin and Sky, we'll get to somewhere like 11.5 million households. 11.5 million households regularly viewing. 29 million individuals, 24 million adults. You can see the acceleration, the path we're on. We have expanded the volume of channels, so it's not across just Sky wholly owned, it's across Channel 5, and we're looking to extend that beyond those channels. And we're expanding the level of data points, and we're evolving the technology and the return path data that you can get. We're also evolving how you can plan and buy your campaigns. We want to move the control from Sky side to customer side. Size, plan, execute your campaigns by logging on to a portal. Evolving the targeting from a couple of thousand attributes today to nearer 4,500. New data points from MasterCard, Boots, Game, home mover data. We are constantly evolving those data and those targeting sets. And my challenge to you is if we can't offer you what you need today, we will go out and find it. That was on game targeting, that was a specific request where we went out and sourced that targeting and did a deal direct with the gaming retailer. The platform is scaling, and it will continue to scale. We're increasing our SME sales force by almost double by the end of next year because it's working. More than 1,600 advertisers active on the platform. 74% of them are either new to TV or new to Sky, and they're coming back and booking time and time again. What that's doing is growing the funnel of future brand advertisers globally across the UK, so across ITV, Channel 4 and Sky. It's bringing new people into the market, new people into broader metrics. If today, or indeed in March rather, we're going to get to about 9.3 up to 11.5 million, we have a clear line of sight now on how we're going to get to 60% household penetration. That fundamentally changes the way you can think about addressability today. AdSmart doesn't just exist in linear. You have consistent targeting capabilities across all platforms we operate. A single campaign across linear, set-top box VOD, TV Anywhere services like Sky Go. In terms of that planning tool, we're now, probably a few of you in the room are in beta test with us. You now have the ability to sign on, log on, select your audiences. That should be a film playing. It isn't playing. There it is, it's playing. Which allows you to select from all that drop-down menu, all of the attributes you want, size your audience at any different time. You can geo-flex it, you can do commute time. I think Jacob was talking about that same capability at Finecast. I want to target those households in a 5-minute commute or a 10-minute commute of my store, my retail battleground, whatever it may be, and then execute that campaign. I want to look at my cover build, I want to look at the time it's going to take me to build my reach and frequency, and I want a proposal, I want it in my inbox, and I want it in there within an hour. Ultimately, that will become fully automated. But the response, or the request rather, from the market has been, make my life easy. And that's what we did. Second area, the question that was asked to me is to cover is how do we think about cross-screen, across Sky platforms and other platforms? And that's a capability that we've launched with Sky Advance, and that will continue to evolve. Today, Sky Advance uses our viewing panel, 3.2-ish million households, giving us second-by-second viewing of every single channel, programme, spot, sponsorship on the Sky platform. In March next year, it goes up to about 6.3 million. 6.3 million households. And then when you think about all of our many, many customer touch points across devices, PCs, mobiles, those sort of things, you can see how we can then serve campaigns across platforms. Using that viewing data to target a single campaign across all of those platforms. But then overlaying that with a graph of graphs, or whatever you want to call it, the third-party data sets, whether it be TACAD, Drawbridge, Axiom, or LiveRamp IDs, to offer that reach extension. Data matching with your agency data and advertisers' first-party data to reach and frequency across all of those platforms. In effect, enabling you, through this data matching capability, to have control holistically of your storytelling and of your campaign operation. Burnett and Field have been referenced a few times, talking about the long and the short of it. Short-term, long-term, brand building, activation, or performance. I think it's a really valid point. It's a really valid point because, as we've already said, TV plays in both of those markets. But for us as TV sales points, we've been guilty of selling you a technology, or certainly I have at Sky, so apologies, but we've been guilty of selling a technology and not talking to you about an outcome. Increasingly, the language you'll hear from our team in Manchester, London and Dublin will be about outcomes. Understanding what your business challenge is, and then building a solution that solves for that. The request that comes from us as a broadcaster and a platform owner is to help us understand. Help us understand what you're trying to achieve, and we will try and help you to achieve it. So a couple of the examples up there, things like battlegrounds. So using all of our platforms, we've had retailers come to us and say, look, we've got a real issue around these 5 stores. You know, in a DIY sort of capacity, they've got 3 competing stores all around us. We want you to upweight our linear campaign using your targeting technology, not just twice, but 3 times, and see if you can drown out the competitors in the market. That could be about retail, it could be about car dealerships, it could be any of your business areas. I think one of the guys earlier talked about addressability and how it's ignoring the brand building of Power TV. You're focusing on the too small. I argue against that because it's not either or. The second circle up there is about light viewers. We have a number of advertisers that are using addressable platforms to only target the lightest 5 or 10% of TV viewers in a month. Because we all intrinsically know that once you get to a certain point, depending on the audience, the cost per cover point to increase your unique reach it becomes cost prohibitive. Using AdSmart now, you can deliver that incremental cover point much more effectively. So better the media in combination. And it could be pizzas, it could be insurance. You can use products and capabilities to target lapsed or existing, to upsell, using those platforms in combination. Paul's standing up, which means I've got to hurry up. And what it means is using these capabilities in a different mix. You shouldn't have to worry about how much of it is AdSmart and how much of it is linear. It's finding the right balance for you and serving that campaign. The future of TV is all about being flexible. It's all about using the platforms in a different way. It's about brand and performance. It's about long-term and short-term. And it's about driving profitability for your advertiser's business. It's about delivering business outcomes, non-transactional metrics. Thank you.